morning guys, and welcome back to the channel. Another Tech Tuesday is coming up, and of course we got the love of my life here as well, the Land Rover LR3 from 2005 here behind me. And this time we got the three amigos going on. Well, three amigos, there are many three amigos on this car, so I got maybe a different set of amigos than you've seen before on the internet or whatever. But anyway, the lights we're talking about here is the brake light, and it's actually the warning light. Then I got the suspension light, and I got the different suspension as well. Now the car will not go out of first gear when you start from the beginning, so when you come to a full stop and you start up, it's not going to come out in the automatics out of the gear, the first gear. So what you can do is you can change it over to manual, and then you can push up in second gear, then you can go back into automatics, and now work completely normal. Sometimes it'll lower the suspension, sometimes it'll just go normal, you wouldn't feel anything. But the truth of the matter is you have a lot of that warning lights in your dashboard, and it's not really nice if you have any of your family members driving around in it. Now this happened suddenly on a night drive. We were coming back from an errand, and suddenly the whole thing just went ballistic. Before that, everything's been working nicely for more than maybe a year or so, and now we're going to go ahead and try it out, to fix it at least. So I've changed a lot of things, including the brake light switch and so forth as well. That was a different thing, but it also comes up with a lot of lights. So today we're going in, I have an idea that it might actually be in the TCM module, so we're going to take out the battery, go down and take the TCM module apart just to see if there's any corrosion on the plugs, if there's anything else going on in there, and from there on we're going to go ahead and maybe clear the codes and then see how things are working. If you don't mind, please like and subscribe to the channel. That will help me out and a lot of other people out, and hopefully we're going to go ahead and solve these problems together on the Land Rover. Anyway, welcome back, and let's get started. So where is this TCM module located? Well, if you look at it right here, I just took the cover off. This is a 4.4 V8, as you can see. And when you take this apart, you got your battery down here. It's actually a brand new battery I put in. You got all your relays in here as well, and then in behind there you got to keep a good lookout. Now in my case here, it looks like there is a little bit of if you look really closely right here, there's some traces of water that's come in here, so I'm quite sure I'm gonna have some corrosion in these. So let's go ahead and clean them up first and see what actually happens. Put some silicone on there, and some maybe WD-40 is going to help as well, but not too much. But make sure that the connectors are clean, and then also that it's going to be watertight afterwards. Where this water is coming from, I don't know, but I could have an idea that it might come from up here, so we're going to have a look at that as well, just to see if we can trace where the leak is from. But it does look like it's been something going on in there that's not supposed to, because there are definitely a lot of residue right here in this area, as you can see, and I'll show you when I get it all taken out from there. So let's see how it looks like. Always start with the negative pole first, the negative side first, and then take the other one off afterwards. As you can see now, the battery's out, and this looks actually pretty good down here. However, up here I can see there's been water coming down. There's traces of it, and up here especially, that plug looks like it's really bad. So let's go ahead and clean it up and see if we can find something that's important for us to look at right now that could actually lead us to the, let's say, the cause, or the major cause of what actually happened here. So there are a few plugs and sockets in here we need to have a look at, and that's what we're going to do. Let's see here. This looks actually pretty good so far, so I'm not so nervous about any water that's been coming into this part. It's pretty well protected as well, so let's go ahead and see what's going on over the corner. Everything out here now, and got more or less everything disassembled, and the first plug I pull out of the TCM module is actually corroded. Now I'm going to show you exactly how it looks like, as I haven't taken out the other plugs yet, so I don't know how bad they are. So this is the first initial look at the TCM module. The TCM module is right here, and this plug is the one sitting right there. So I just disassembled it, and if you look very careful on this, you can see very closely the green corrosion that actually has been occurring inside of it. And of course, this over time could easily be developing to a serious problem and giving you some lights in your dashboard. Very, very simple. If you look look down there, I'll see if I can get a little bit closer, but if you look down here as well, you can see that they are also corroded. So let's take the rest of them out and go ahead and clean them up, and that could actually be your problem with the lights you got in your dashboard. So let's try that. Now we got the TCM module out, and it is right here. The first initial impression I get is I can see there's residue on it right here all the way across, as you can see. So there has been water running down over it. On the back side you can see the traces of water, basically, if you look very careful, they've been running down, and up here as well. On the corner right here you can see it as well. We can't take it off. I'll see if I can go ahead and take it all apart, but if you look into the plugs, it's very easy to see that here's evidence of water. So all of this green stuff is actually corrosion inside the plugs, and of course in turn and over the years this could very well have been my problem. Now I could actually suspect that it still be working. I'll clean this out first and go for a drive, but it might actually cost the module too, because if the water has penetrated inside the box, you're looking at probably some components that actually has malfunctioned now. And you can take it apart by taking these off in the back, and then the whole front is going to come off, and if you find anything fried in there, then you can probably assure yourself you need a new box. But so far I'm going to go ahead and try it, because I think I took this in time. So since it's an intermittent problem, it works normally when we start up, when it's cold and so forth, and then it comes as you drive, or if it gets moist outside, then it gets very sensitive. So I think I might have taken this in time before I actually fried the module. So I'm going to see if I can go ahead and clean it, put it in, and see if that actually solves my problem. So I can highly recommend you. It only takes about half an hour to get to this point where I'm at right now, and now it's just a matter of cleaning it up, putting it all back together again, and see how it goes. Make sure when you put it together to put some anti-repellent or some silicone or something else that actually works for electronics, so you know that it's going to repel all the water if there is a leak somewhere else, because it has come in somewhere. I have been pressure washing this car sometimes when I come back from the swamp, and that could be the reason as well. So depending on how you treat your car, it could be yourself making this water, but it could also come in from numerous places here, as we know that they have some leaks, these Land Rovers. That's why they're trying to dry inside of it. Anyway, let's go ahead and clean this up. Welcome to the test bench. So let's go ahead and see if we can open this thing, and I want to see what's inside of it. It might be worth it, because since we have everything out already, it's just these four. Let's see here. They're kind of, it's aluminum, so it's very simple to go ahead and get straight. With a pair of pliers and a flat-headed screwdriver, you can actually just go ahead and open this, and just make sure that you're grounded and not have any power to the dashboard, and you should be able to take this apart. Then once it opens, carefully just open it slightly all the way around. There are a few up here as well, I forgot. There we go. There we are. Let's see what's inside of this thing. There we go. Now, has this had any problems on the way? It sure has. But I think I might be a little bit lucky still. It's filled up with what you call SMD components as well. So you got a lot of transistors, a computer, and everything else. So you're looking at the heart here of the Land Rover, more or less. So you can get all kinds of different malfunctions coming up. But if you look very closely right there, I don't know if you can see it, but I hope you can. Otherwise you might want to freeze the video when you go to this part. But right here I've had a droplet coming down, creating some corrosion, and this has to be cleaned up. If we're lucky, those transistors that's actually on there right now are still going to be okay. However, I can't see with the blind eye here, so I'm going to have a magnifying glass to see if there's anything coming up, or I'll take a picture with my phone and then I'll have a look at it. So right now I'm going to pick up the phone, see if I can enhance and expand the picture before I clean it, and then we'll take it from there. So let's try that out. Let's see how it looks like. If you look carefully here in the expanded, you might actually see it, but you can see all this water and residue and corrosion that came out. This is what I'm talking about. It could look like I might have a small burnt problem over here as well. Maybe we're lucky, but we don't know yet. Let's go ahead and have a look, and it won't tell before I put it back into the car. At least we know where the problem is. So I had water coming in. You might have water coming in too. Easy way to see what the problem looks like, and you can go ahead and expand it like what I have here now. So let's clean it up with a small brush, and then we'll see if it works. A very soft brush to clean this off. Watch out you don't get any other components into problems here, but at least you get this part cleaned up nice and easy. It's just like what you use for pipes or whatever, but it is very soft, so don't go ahead and destroy your component, because it's very easily done. So I'm only using electronic cleaner here, and then I put a little bit of WD-40 on this, but it's a very, as you can see, it's very little. Reason being is because it also keeps the water out next time the water comes in, so it makes a little bit of a protective layer, but I'm gonna wipe it off right away as well, so you barely can't feel it. It's just to have a slightly part of protection layer on there. That's all there is. So take your time, clean it up, and in a second you'll see this thing's gonna look quite nice. And I'm not even gonna solder it. I'm just gonna leave it as it is and then see what happens. The turn is coming to the plug itself, and if you look very careful between these 2 points right there, down in the bottom, if you can see it, I'm not sure if you can see it or not, but see all the green stuff there? That's the corrosion that comes by. And actually you can have a creeping current, or just a slight little creeping current going between these 2 things. The computer will then sense it, and that's when it throws out a code that could be anywhere from left, right, or center. So it's going to light up like a Christmas tree inside your car. So this is really important that this is all cleaned up 100%. Why it's not protected more than this, I don't know, but that might be a good idea. When you put it back into the car, make sure you protect it even more than it already is. So make sure you're using some kind of silicone spray on the plastic when you get there. That'll keep the water repelling off of this plug, because this is where it comes in as well. To clean it, I'm using a small hex key in there that fits right in between. So, and then with a little bit of spray of the WD-40 and the cleaner first, then I can actually come in between all these connectors, except for the top and the bottom one. But I'm just going to change out to a smaller hex key, and then I'll be in and be able to go ahead and clean it out. So far it looks actually like it's getting better, a lot better. It's not as green anymore as it was. So let's change the key to the small ones, reflect, so you can see it. Now it's completely clean, everything's fine. What I used was a few cotton sticks, my small brush, and then some WD-40. Make sure it's completely dry from the WD-40 before you put power on it, and assemble it again, because you don't want to have anything laying around inside your control module itself. So just make sure it's clean, and then let's give it a try. So I made another little quick fix here, because I'm done with water, as you probably already know if you've watched the video so far. Anyway, leave a comment below. I know it doesn't look very nice, but it's definitely now watertight, so the water can come in only up through here at the moment. Now make sure that you clean the plugs as well, because the plugs have corrosion in there too. So make sure you get these plugs completely clean as well. I use the electronic cleaner and also the WD-40 to go ahead and get the moisture out if there's something else that comes in, and make sure that there's no residue, so it's not like flooding completely, but just make sure it's clean, and then you should be fine. All right. Now when you put the battery in, make sure you always start with the plus, it's kind of important, and then you put the other one on afterwards. So the ground goes on as the last thing. Well, the last thing we need to do about the Land Rover is to go ahead and finish off the last part so we can get rid of these 3 amigos. It could also be that the light bulbs in the back has either failed, doesn't work, or you put in the wrong ones. It could be both. So what I've done is I've actually just taken the rear apart, and one way to check that it might be not working is to jump into your car, put the light on, just the ignition on and light on, don't turn it on, and then hit the brake pedal. Now if you do that and you have all the bells and whistles going on, meaning that all the lights including indicators are flashing, your in the back it's flashing. If you go out and look on the rear side, you'll see both the top LED lights going to be flashing, the lights are going to be go up and down, and there's going to be a whole lot of things going on where you're like, what is this? Once you turn it off, it works normal. That could be an indication of the light bulb. Another thing, the car drives absolutely perfectly normal as long as you don't have the light switch turned on. And this sounds really weird, I know, but it will drive perfectly normal. It will shift automatics, no problem, all the way up to 6th and all the way back down again. The minute you turn on your light and you come to a full stop, then you might have only limited gears available, and that means that it might not go ahead and shift from 1 to 2nd and further up, or it might only go up to 3rd, or it might not go out of 3rd, or whatever it is. So you will have limited gears available. This and these signs could be a deficient light bulb, and I'll show you how to check it right now. Here are 2 light bulbs, and I took my multimeter, and if you don't have that, you could actually also just use a small 12-volt battery with 2 leads on it, and that'll be fine. I'm bringing it over to the ohm meter here, and as you can hear, when you have a connection, it's gonna go with a beep. Now here are 2 light bulbs, and these are actually from the Land Rover, the stop lights as well, very easy to go ahead and see. And if you go ahead and put that to the ground out here and the other one to the middle, you'll see here that there is connection. This one doesn't have a connection. Now if you look carefully, it actually does look like it's working absolutely properly as well. It's not burnt or anything, it looks completely normal. So in this case here, this is a bad bulb. Now this one, if we try this, it doesn't matter which one we put on here first, it's gonna go with a beep and it works. And the next one, see here, is not working as well. Let's go the other way. So I have 2 bad bulbs here where the stop part doesn't work up here. This is actually broken. If you look very carefully, you can actually see that this is broken, the top one there. So if you don't get a connection through both from the ground, the bulb is actually deficient. Now does it matter how they look like? No, they really don't. As long as it's the same amperage you're putting in, and it's the same, it's just a regular stoplight, there's nothing to it. It's the same lights they've been using for 60 years. There's nothing new in this. But make sure you got the stoplight and they're both working. If that's the case, you should be good to go. Go ahead and change them and you should be alright. After that, you can go ahead and do the check that I was talking about. And if you do the check where you go in, turn it on, and you hit the brake pedal, it should be gone by then. So I hope that helps a little bit, and that's going to take care of it. If you do all 3 items that I've done so far, that means the stop light or switch, if you take that one, remember that was the one, the 2 light bulbs, or the 4 light bulbs in total, and then make sure that you have no water into your TCM module. That should take care of most of the amigos that you got. So I hope that's going to help you a little bit. But let's continue the journey and try it out. So as you can see, now we're done with the whole thing. Let's go ahead and start the car up and see what happens. I hope it's taking care of all the problems that we have with this thing, but you never know. So let's go. I just jumped into the car, and as you can hear, just put on the ignition, and right now the CD is trying to assemble all the discs in there. I think it figured out there's nobody in and nothing in there. So now it's finally done. Well, one of the things we saw last night with all the different lights that came into display, right now I have just the ignition on, as you can see, but that was when we turned on the light and hit the brake pedal, it actually went completely ballistic with the lights, and everything was flashing, including the hazard lights. Everything basically went off, and we had like a lot of questions to that. The whole back, all my lights were flashing in the back too, including the flashlights, also the stop lights, and that was one of the problems. So let's see if we can start it now and see what happens. Right now it doesn't do that, so I might actually already taken care of the problem, we don't know. But let's see if it will start. It does, and this is like I said, the first time today they're starting up after this. So let's go for a small ride, but it shouldn't. Well, I've been driving a little bit now, a little less than a mile actually, and I have nothing in the display. It's all taken care of. It switches gears and everything else straight out of first, speed and everything else, and I'm all in automatic. It looks like it's solved. It might be too early to say, but as it is right now, it's definitely solved. So if you do have a whole bunch of Christmas tree coming on your, they call it both the 3 amigos, 2 amigos, or whatever it might be, but they don't have to be, let's say, affiliated with each other. It could be anything that comes up. But since you have water or have some corrosion in there, the creeping current would be enough for you to have all kinds of different lights in your display. I can't tell you what it might be. I had problems with both transmission, I had brake, I had the warning light, and I also got the suspension light. The car just had a light on here because it was lowered to the lowest part on the suspension, and it actually automatically came up, say, raising to normal level now. So I'm driving it as it was, absolutely with no failures or nothing. And what did I do? Well, clean the TCM module. It took me about an hour to get it all done, more or less. It took me probably about a little bit more than that with the videos and all the other stuff. However, I think this could be one of your major issues that you need to want to take care of if you have a Land Rover LR3. This is the Land Rover LR3 V8, a 4.4 liter. I wouldn't be surprised it will be the same on all the other ones, more or less. So go ahead and keep that little module clean before it breaks, because if you do get more water in there, it will actually break completely and you'll have to go ahead and ask for a brand new module. So far mine seems like it's been completely working and it's solved and fixed. I don't think that I'm gonna have any problems with it from now on forward, and it's also sealed up, as you saw. And I got some silicone spray. Just buy a local silicone spray, which is nice, and then just wipe the whole compartment off when you get in there, because it's gonna make the water repel if you have a leak somewhere else. It's hard to tell if you have a leak, but in about another week, maybe 2 weeks, I'll open up again, have a look, and then see if there is any, or even drive it through a car wash to see if it's coming in that way. Anyway, I'm quite confident that this is all sealed up, problem solved, and go ahead and check the TCM module out. It takes some time, but it's worth it. I guess it's just normal TLC for this car, and that's basically what it is. Anyway, if you like the video, go ahead and like, subscribe, and I'll come back with another video as soon as I can. I hope you enjoyed and found it helpful, or actually also maybe some information you can use. And it doesn't have to take a lot of time to fix it, but at least you won't get stuck on the road somewhere. So anyway, until next time, see you then.